What's good, ladies and gentlemen? And I am back. And this is Reggie's World Sports. I'm Reggie. And before we get started, I want you guys to hit that subscribe button, like and share and comment and do all that good stuff. And with that out of the way, we're going to head into these Atlanta Falcons.
Big as the Super Bowl.
As you guys know, the Falcons have done a lot this offseason. Some good, some kind of not great or controversial, but we're here. And hey, I mean, for those that have missed everything that they've done, the Falcons signed Kirk Cousins. They drafted Michael Penix, which in some ways was controversial. And then later on in the offseason, about as recently as about 4 weeks ago, they traded for Matthew Judon from the Patriots. They gave up a third-round pick, and they signed safety Justin Simmons, who, between Justin Simmons and Matthew Judon, both individuals are Pro Bowlers. And so, by my estimation, based off of what the Falcons have done, I think they've made themselves a better football team. You know, before they made those two decisions, trading for Matthew Judon and signing Justin Simmons, as a Falcon fan, I had my questions. I had my doubts as to, okay, what is this team doing? You know, you're going to draft, you sign Kirk Cousins and then you draft Michael Penix, but what's the direction? Did you make yourself better? The defense to me was a question mark coming in, but but after they made the moves that they made, signing Matthew Judon and after they traded for Matthew Judon and signed Justin Simmons, I look at this football team now and they feel legit to me. When I look at this team, you look at the offense specifically, they got Kirk Cousins. They got a new coach in Raheem Morris. They got a new offensive coordinator in Zach Robinson. And if you look at the skill position players, we have, Bijan Robinson, who, the Falcons drafted last year, who's super talented, has all the tools, can run. He has home run ability. He can break tackles. He can run between the tackles, run outside, can catch passes. He can do it all. And I think this kid has all the ability to be a special running back, to be the best running back in football. With all due respect to Christian McCaffrey. Like, Christian McCaffrey's good, and he's special in his own right. But this kid Bijan coming. He's coming. And so you got a kid like him. You got Drake London, who I have huge respect for as to what he can do as a receiver. Obviously there's Kyle Pitts, who was drafted number 4 overall back in 2021. He's had his share of ups and downs. He's been injured. And, but this year he finally has a quarterback in Kirk Cousins who can throw him the football. And so, you have him. You got the offensive line, which in my opinion is solid. And if you go by the football metrics, the Falcon offensive line is rated one of the best in the league. And so offensively, when you add in Kirk Cousins and, even Michael Penix, when I look at Michael Penix, look, when the Falcons drafted him, I was one of those skeptics. I was one of those people that was like, guys, what are you doing? Why you need a pass rusher? Why draft a quarterback, especially a quarterback that had these injury issues? He tore his ACL, I think, twice. We're gonna go get another quarterback after you sign Kirk Cousins. Why not get a pass rusher? I was one of those people. All right, but look, as a fair-minded objective fan, after they made those defensive additions, I feel better about getting Michael Penix. And now, even with him, backing up Kirk Cousins, I feel more comfortable with the quarterback situation now than I did last year. And like, even with Kirk Cousins, even if he does gets hurt or he's ineffective or whatever, look, I think Kirk Cousins is gonna play the whole year, unless he gets injured. But like, if he does get injured, we have a quarterback in Michael Penix who I think can do the job. And so, look, when I look at the offensive side of the ball with all the players I just named, and also I can't forget about Darnell Mooney, from Chicago, who's a speedster in his own right. He gives you that speed at the wide receiver position. You got this kid KC Washington, who they drafted, I think, in the 6th round, who, from reading some of the reports, that he's been doing his thing in camp. So this is a potentially another receiver, with what we got. And so offensively, this is a team that should be loaded and should be very formidable, especially with Kirk Cousins leading the helm. And so now let's get to the defense. And look, as I said previously, I had my concerns about the defense. I was one of those people that felt like, as recently as about a month ago, that I thought the Falcons did not do enough to address the defense. Get a pass rusher and upgrade the safety spot in the secondary. Even get another corner. And look, now that they've added Matthew Judon and Justin Simmons, I now feel a lot better about the defense for the Atlanta Falcons. You look at the defense now, and I'm saying, okay, you got Jesse Bates, who is arguably the best safety in the league. And you add in a guy like Justin Simmons, who's a Pro Bowl safety in his own right as well. Now I look at the safety tandem and I'm like, okay, the Falcons might have the best safety tandem in the league. And so you got the two safeties. You got AJ Terrell, who's I've seen Falcon fans have kind of little debates about us, like how good AJ Terrell is and whatnot, but he's good enough. He's a good corner, and who they just extended just about a week and a half ago, right? And so I look at him now. The other cornerback spot's a little questionable, but even with that, if you have two safeties and you have a solid corner AJ Terrell, the secondary looks much improved to me. And so you got good secondary play on paper. The linebackers should be pretty okay with Anderson, and you got Ellis with your linebackers. And so the linebacking core looks solid or good enough. And then you look at the defensive line. And anyone that has followed me knows that I've been ranting about the Falcons' lack of a pass rush. Any semblance of a pass rusher that can sack quarterbacks. It has been years since we had a pass rush. And look, we had to go all the way back to John Abraham since the last time we had a pass rush. And look, no disrespect to Vic Beasley, who was here, for a few years, but he wasn't it. He just wasn't. All right. I know he had 16 sacks in 15 and a half sacks or something like that in 2016. Look, man, them numbers were fake. All right. Vic Beasley wasn't that dude. And so you had to go all the way back to John Abraham for the last time the team had a good pass rusher. And hopefully, finally, we got a guy in Matthew Judon from the Patriots. This guy's been a Pro Bowler four-time Pro Bowler. I think his last healthy season, he had like 15 and a half sacks in 2022. And so this is a guy that you line him up next to a Grady Jarrett and next to Onyemata. And now I look at the defensive line and I'm saying, okay, This team is, you got something. And now I look at the defense and I'm like, okay, we got some dudes now. Now look, I still don't know how much great of a defense will be ultimately. But I look at the defense now and I'm like, okay, we got some players on the defensive side of the ball. And so when I look at the improved defense, from the Falcons, and I look at what we already have on offense with, again, like I say, Kirk Cousins and Bijan Robinson and Drake London and Kyle Pitts and Darnell Mooney and potentially someone like a KC Washington, and I want another guy I can't forget, the backup running back. I'm losing my train of thought as far as the backup running back, but he's good as well. And so like I said, man, like we in the offensive line, it's pretty solid offensive line as well. And so offensively, man, we got some weapons on the offensive side. We got a quarterback, and defensively, we got some ballers. We got some ballers from the safety spot, from the cornerback spot, finally an edge rusher and a solid defensive tackle tandem. Now I look at this team and I'm saying, okay, this team should win in a neighborhood of 10 to 12 games this year. No question about it. This team should win the NFC South. This team should make the playoffs. This team has no excuses. Period. The Falcons have no excuses to not win this division. And this team has no excuses to not make the playoffs, because this roster finally is good enough, talented enough to do so. And look, Raheem Morris, look, man, I was, when the Falcons first hired him, I was kind of just null. I wasn't super excited, but I didn't hate the move. I was fine with it. But look, I got to tell you guys, the more I listen to this man talk, it's just hard. It's hard not to, not be excited about this guy. Like, he's the guy that it's just hard not to root for him. This guy just, every time I listen to this man talk, he understands us. He understands Atlanta. He understands what us Falcon fans have been through. He understands, all the popular, I remember listening to an interview he did with Ryan Clark about a month ago. And this man was talking about how he wanted to win. How he wanted to win for Matt Ryan and Julio Jones and Roddy White and Mohamed Sanu and Taylor Gabriel, and he just wanted to win for us, the fans of Atlanta, because we've been through so much. You know what I'm saying? We've been through a lot. I don't want to get into, the Super Bowl blown lead and all that. I know it hurts. It's still hurting me to this day, guys. It still hurts. And I know it hurts all of you. I get it. It still hurts. And so, man, I'm rooting for Raheem Morris to do well. I think he's done a nice job of getting this city and us fans, you just united and just excited about the team, man. And so, I'm ready. I'm ready to go. As a Falcon fan, I got to tell you, this is the most excited I've been about this football team in about 7 years, 6-7 years, since 2017-18. Every other year since then, I've just been unenthused, unexcited. Going through the years of Marcus Mariota and Desmond Ridder and, the latter 2-3 years of Matt Ryan when he just wasn't the same QB anymore. In the latter years of Dan Quinn when he had Dirk Cutter as his offensive coordinator. It was bad, man. It was bad. Arthur Smith, he was bad. He just wasn't. Marcus Mariota, awful. Desmond Ridder, Never believed in them. Awful too. And so now we finally got a team, hopefully, prayfully, that can make some stuff happen. I believe it's our time. We're gonna do something this year. Look, I know people want to talk about Super Bowl. I ain't ready. I ain't ready to go that far yet. All right. I'm not ready. I'm not ready to, say Super Bowl. You got to crawl before you walk. All right. So just get into the playoffs, and that'll be good enough for me. And I believe it. I believe we can do it. I believe we're gonna do it. My record prediction for this football team. I'm going 11-6. I'm going 11-6 for the Atlanta Falcons. I believe we can win it. We can win this division, and we're gonna get in the playoffs. We're gonna host a playoff game, and hey, whatever happens, happens. But I'm ready to rock, man. I'm ready to roll. Let's get it. I'm looking forward to a great Falcon year. Opening night, first game of the season is against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm ready to get to it. Let's go and rise up. Let's get it. Talk soon.